Charleston White just went on an unscripted emergency live stream and did the absolute unthinkable. He didn't just name names, he dropped a nuclear bomb directly onto the Houston rap empire. For months, they told you that Takeoff's tragic murder outside a bowling alley was just a chaotic accident. They told you Duke the jeweler's violent execution after a high-stakes dice game was just a random street robbery gone wrong. They lied to you. Charleston White has officially linked both high-profile murders to one master criminal setup operating inside the dark heart of Texas. And the most terrifying part? He claims he just handed over undisputed, secret audio recordings directly to federal agents. If you think you know what happened, you are dead wrong. Stay right here, because the truth is about to burn the entire industry to the ground. To understand the sheer magnitude of the nightmare unfolding right now in broad daylight, we have to rewind the tape and look at the sinister pattern that the mainstream media was always too terrified to point out. For over 3 decades, Houston, Texas has been governed by an unwritten, ironclad law, a ruthless street policy known across the entire global music industry as the mandatory check-in culture. If you are a multi-platinum recording artist, a millionaire athlete, or a world-famous celebrity jeweler stepping foot into the city of Houston, you don't just land at airport gates, check into your luxury hotel, and go about your business. You are expected, absolute authority demands, that you check in with the city's self-proclaimed street royalty. You pay your homage, you clear your presence with the elite hierarchy, or you face unimaginable, lethal consequences. For years, major record labels quietly played along. High-profile managers whispered subtle warnings to their artists behind closed doors. But behind the glitz, the glamour, the VIP sections, and the red carpets, a terrifying extortion racket was quietly festering in the dark. Then came the dark, bloody months that changed everything forever. First, it was Duke the jeweler, a high-profile, ultra-wealthy custom jeweler loved by the biggest names in Hollywood and mainstream rap. Duke walked into a high-stakes, closed-door dice game in Houston. He played hard, he won massive amounts of cash, and within a matter of hours, he was ambushed, brutally robbed of his signature ice, and shot dead in cold blood right in front of eyewitnesses. The official narrative handed down to the press claimed it was just a spontaneous street robbery gone wrong. But industry insiders whispered a far darker rumor. Duke had deliberately bypassed the lords of the city. He failed to check in, and a high-dollar hit was placed on his neck before the dice even stopped rolling on the table. And before the music industry could even process the horror of Duke's murder, the unthinkable happened. Takeoff, the most peaceful, unbothered, and universally loved member of the legendary group Migos, was violently shot and killed outside a private event at 80-20 Bowling in Houston. The world stood still. Millions of fans wept. The official narrative fed to the public was that a senseless argument over a casual dice game spiraled out of control. But look closer. Look at the common denominators. Both incidents happened in Houston. Both involved ultra-wealthy, outside icons. Both centered around secretive, high-stakes dice games surrounded by local enforcers. And both involved the exact same powerful figures hovering quietly in the shadows. Enter Charleston White, the most unpredictable, unapologetic, and feared loudmouth internet personality in modern culture. For years, Charleston built a reputation for saying the unspeakable and challenging the untouchable. But nobody expected what he was secretly planning behind closed doors. While the rest of the world posted tribute images and accepted the official police handouts, Charleston was quietly building a massive, classified dossier. Charleston claimed that these 2 murders were not separate, random tragedies. He claimed they were executed by the exact same criminal cell using the exact same sinister playbook to strip outside multimillionaires of their wealth, their dignity, and ultimately their lives. The tension between Charleston White and the Houston power structure had been simmering for over 2 years, reaching a boiling point of pure hatred and deadly threats. But what Charleston was about to drop on his emergency live stream would shatter the entire illusion of safety in the rap game forever. It all exploded at exactly 2:14 a.m. on a Tuesday night. Without any prior announcement or warning, Charleston White went live from an undisclosed, heavily fortified location. His eyes were bloodshot with pure fury, and his voice trembled with an unsettling mix of raw rage and adrenaline. Over 180,000 live viewers crammed into the broadcast within 4 minutes as words spread like wildfire across every social media platform. Charleston didn't open with his usual jokes or provocations. He stared directly into the camera lens, pulled out a thick binder filled with federal case documents, and dropped a bombshell statement that left the entire internet dead silent. You all thought Duke was just robbed by some broke street kids. You thought Takeoff was hit by a stray bullet in a random argument. Wake up. It's the same setup. It's the exact same trap. And I have the recorded phone calls to prove who pulled the strings. Charleston then held up a secondary smartphone to his microphone and played what he claimed was a secret, intercepted audio file recorded just hours after Duke the jeweler was killed. In the chilling recording, 2 unidentified voices with heavy Texas accents could be heard frantically discussing a financial payout, coordinating a cover-up, and ensuring the local authorities kept the murder scene completely locked down. The live stream chat exploded into absolute hysteria, but Charleston wasn't finished. He began detailing the alleged mechanical blueprint of how these high-profile setups actually work. According to Charleston, high-stakes dice games in Houston are rarely organic. They are meticulously crafted honey traps. Wealthy visiting targets, like Duke the jeweler, are intentionally invited under the guise of VIP brotherhood and exclusive gambling. Once the target accumulates massive amounts of physical cash or showcases millions of dollars in custom diamond chains, the trap snaps shut. Insiders text enforcers waiting outside. Signals are given. A manufactured argument is staged to create total panic and confusion. And in the chaos, the target is eliminated, robbed, and the crime scene is instantly scrubbed before independent investigators can ever arrive. And then came the first shocking twist that made the entire internet hold its breath in sheer terror. Charleston didn't just point fingers at local street enforcers. He explicitly named a beloved, legendary Southern rap icon as a crucial catalyst in the trap. Charleston claimed that Boozy Badass was on a live FaceTime call with Duke the jeweler mere moments before Duke stepped into that fatal dice game. Charleston alleged that Boozy was fully aware of the hostile environment Duke was walking into and had explicitly warned Duke on camera, yet hours later, a bizarre, heavily intoxicated video surfaced online showing Boozy making disturbing comments about people having their chains snatched. Take all that off his neck. Charleston claimed this wasn't just drunken rambling, it was subliminal taunting from someone who knew the setup was already underway. The emotional fallout from this allegation was immediate and devastating. Fans of Boozy were in total denial, crying out in the comments that Charleston was fabricating lies to ruin reputations. But Charleston wasn't backing down. He slammed his hand on the desk, leaned into the camera, and unleashed a barrage of emotionally charged words that cut like a razor. You all worship these fake rap gods while they feed young black men to the wolves. Duke is gone. Takeoff is gone. Families are broken. Mothers are burying their sons. And you all are sitting here protecting the monsters who signed the hit orders. I'm done being quiet. The blood is on your hands. Just as the stream hit a staggering 250,000 live viewers, the feed suddenly cut to pitch black. For 30 agonizing minutes, the internet went cold. Rumors began circulating instantly that Charleston White had been snatched off his live stream in real time by a strike team. Social media was flooded with frantic posts claiming gunshots were heard near his location. Panic was at an all-time high, but what nobody realized was that the termination of that stream was only the opening act of an even bigger, far more dangerous nightmare. Within 6 hours of Charleston's stream abruptly blacking out, the story didn't die. It exploded into a global media firestorm. Hashtags linking Charleston White, Duke the jeweler, Takeoff, and Houston law enforcement were trending at #1 across every major platform on the planet. Every single commentary channel, hip-hop blogger, and online investigator was scrambling to analyze every frame of Charleston's leaked audio. The industry was spiraling into pure panic and chaos. Major artists quietly began scrubbing their social media profiles, deleting old photos with prominent Houston figures. Tour managers were frantically calling venues to cancel upcoming Texas dates. The fear in the air was so thick you could cut it with a knife. And then came the second unexpected twist, a revelation so unbelievable that it completely flipped the entire narrative from a standard rap feud into a massive federal corruption conspiracy. At 11 a.m. the very next morning, Charleston White reappeared, not on his own channel, but via an emergency broadcast recorded directly outside a Federal Bureau of Investigation field office. Standing alongside his legal team, Charleston revealed the real reason his live stream had suddenly gone pitch black the night before. He hadn't been ambushed by street enforcers. His stream was forcibly shut down by his own security detail after federal agents made direct contact with his attorney in real time, demanding an immediate, emergency handover of every single physical tape, phone recording, and digital document in his possession. Charleston then dropped the ultimate bomb. He claimed that J. Prince Sr. and J. Prince Jr. do not just run a massive music and management empire. He explicitly alleged that they have had high-ranking members of the Houston Police Department on an illegal, secret monthly payroll for over a decade. According to the formal statement Charleston provided to federal authorities, corrupt insiders within the police department have been actively leaking active murder investigation files, confidential witness statements, and wiretap locations directly to street enforcers. This meant that whenever a visiting artist tried to go to the police after being extorted, robbed, or threatened, their formal statements were handed right back to the very bosses who ordered the hit within 48 hours. Charleston claimed this was the exact reason why the official investigation into Takeoff's murder suffered from so many bizarre delays, strange dead ends, and missing pieces of evidence in the early months. He alleged that the murder scene outside the bowling alley was deliberately allowed to become compromised, key security footage from surrounding businesses mysteriously vanished, and high-profile eyewitnesses were systematically intimidated into silence long before homicide detectives could even conduct proper, formal interviews. To prove the sheer danger of what he was dealing with, Charleston referenced a terrifying event that had taken place just days prior, the broad daylight ambush on his own vehicle. Charleston described driving right through the heart of Houston's notorious Fifth Ward, the central territory of the local power structure. He was openly broadcasting his location online, daring anyone to face him. Within minutes, a blacked-out vehicle pulled up alongside his car in broad daylight and opened fire with automatic weapons. Over 15 rounds shattered his windows and slammed into the body of his car. Charleston only survived the assassination attempt because his vehicle had been retrofitted with heavy-duty ballistic armor. Instead of hiding in fear, Charleston turned that daylight shooting into his ultimate card. Every camera inside his armored vehicle recorded the entire attempt in crystal-clear resolution, including visible shots of the shooters, their license plates, and their radio chatter. But Charleston didn't post those videos on the internet for clout. He handed every single gigabyte of raw footage directly to federal prosecutors. The entire music industry was suddenly staring into an abyss. This was no longer internet drama or YouTube clickbait. Federal authorities were now actively building a massive racketeer-influenced and corrupt organizations case, a federal RICO, connecting corrupt local law enforcement, high-level music executives, and street-level enforcers into one continuous, deadly criminal network. The fallout from Charleston White stepping outside that federal building was immediate, chaotic, and unprecedented. The internet completely fractured into two fiercely aggressive sides, turning every comment section, message board, and social media feed into a virtual war zone. On one side, millions of outrage-fueled fans rallied behind Charleston, celebrating him as an unlikely whistleblower who finally had the courage to pull back the curtain on a ruthless system. For years, people had spoken about Houston's street politics in hushed tones, but seeing federal documents involved changed the tone overnight. Hashtags demanding justice for Takeoff and Duke the Jeweler began trending across the globe. Content creators started dissecting past interviews, old crime scene clips, and public statements made by prominent figures, highlighting every single contradiction and strange detail that had previously gone ignored. Viewers applauded Charleston for putting his life on the line to expose what many now believed was a long-standing pattern of violent extortion masked as respect. On the opposing side, a massive wave of fierce backlash crashed back against Charleston. Houston loyalists, Industry insiders and diehard fans of the accused figures went on an aggressive counter-campaign. Prominent local figures took to live streams to denounce Charleston, calling him a dangerous clout chaser, an attention addict, and a federal informant who was fabricating extreme narratives just to stay relevant. They argued that bringing federal law enforcement into rap industry dynamics was an unforgivable line to cross, accusing him of exploiting real tragedies for personal views and financial gain. Commentators within the hip-hop space began issuing dark, cryptic warnings. They pointed out that accusing high-ranking figures and law enforcement officers of conspiracy and corruption wasn't just online trash talk. It was a move that carried absolute, irreversible consequences. Analysts warned that Charleston was playing a game far bigger than YouTube algorithms, predicting that the fallout from these claims would permanently alter how artists travel, perform, and interact in major cities. The tension escalated even further when unverified reports began circulating about high-level emergency meetings taking place behind closed doors in the music industry. Insiders claimed that executives, legal teams, and management agencies were working frantically around the clock to assess the potential damage. Prominent artists who had previously praised the traditional check-in culture suddenly scrubbed their past interviews from the internet, desperate to distance themselves from anything that could be cited in a potential federal probe. The silence from some of the industry's biggest voices was deafening. Record labels issued quiet advisories to their talent rosters, warning them to avoid making public statements regarding Houston, Charleston White, or the ongoing federal inquiries. What started as an internet rant had effectively paralyzed the culture, creating a rift so deep that no amount of public relations spin could fix it. Just when everyone thought the story had reached its absolute peak, one final, terrifying revelation dropped that threw every existing theory completely out the window. Late last night, a mysterious, encrypted audio clip leaked onto private Telegram channels and dark web forums. The file was titled with a specific law enforcement wiretap code. But what made this audio so shocking was not just its content. It was the fact that it did not come from Charleston White, nor did it come from federal agents. In this hauntingly clear 10-second recording, a cold, calculated voice, allegedly belonging to a high-ranking industry manager, can be heard speaking to an unidentified associate just 3 hours before Takeoff was shot outside that Houston bowling alley. The voice explicitly discussed setting up a situation under the guise of a casual dice game, ensuring the target's security detail was kept at a distance, and making sure the outcome appeared to be nothing more than an unpredictable, spontaneous street argument. Read between the lines. This leak came from an internal whistleblower deep inside the organization, someone who realizes the federal net is closing in and is now desperately trying to burn the whole operation down from the inside before indictments are handed down. This single recording shatters the official narrative once and for all. Takeoff was not caught in random crossfire. Duke the jeweler was not just targeted by opportunistic thieves. These events were part of a systematic, pre-planned execution strategy designed to maintain total dominance over visiting talent and enforce compliance through ultimate fear. And here is the final, heart-stopping twist that has sent shockwaves through the entire industry. Charleston White just posted one final message on his private page before going completely dark and disconnecting all communications. The grand jury convenes this Friday at 9 a.m. Part 2 of the Intercept audio drops tomorrow at midnight. The names named on this tape will permanently shut down 3 major record labels and dismantle the entire fake empire forever. Pray for me. Who is named on that second tape? Which top-tier global superstars were secretly complicit in setting up these events? Are federal agents preparing for a massive midnight raid? Or will forces in the shadows manage to silence the truth before that audio ever sees the light of day? The clock is ticking, and the entire world is waiting for midnight. This is without a doubt the most dangerous, high-stakes story we have ever covered. Events are unfolding at a terrifying speed, and new leaks are dropping by the minute. We need to hear from you right now in the comments below. Do you believe Charleston White's evidence will finally bring down this entire empire, or will the power brokers slide through the net once again? If you want to stay ahead of every single update on this federal investigation, hit that like button, smash subscribe, and turn on all post notifications. The second part 2 of that audio drops. We will be back with an immediate, full-length breakdown. Stay safe, keep your eyes open, and we will see you on the next explosive update.